Yellow Greg.
Hello, David.
How's it going?
It's going well. How are you?
Oh, good.
You survived the time change?
Nope, never do. This is the worst thing that happens to Canadians
Right?
ever. And not all of
Yeah.
them either. Like, I don't think they switch time in the province you came from.
No, that's true. And in Creston, BC, they don't
Mm-hmm.
switch.
You like,
So
uh,
half the year they're on BC time, half the year they're on Alberta time.
good
So
for
it's like,
them.
which time is it?
I think that people should just respect that I don't like switching times in general.
I think we should have stayed on Mountain Standard Time the whole year.
Yeah, but the time they actually voted on it, they asked wrong, and it's
Yeah,
like,
they
no, not that one.
well, and that's why they only got 50 or 49% or something.
And I wonder if they just like asked because like it was that time of year where the election was, and they're like, do you want to keep this time? No.
They they had enough uprising from their constituents that they had to put the question in, is what it was. And
I
then they
think
put the
that's
wrong question in.
yeah. Oops.
They
Uh,
should have just phrased it. Do you want to change daylight? Do you want to change time twice a year?
do
And
you want
then
to
yes
change
or
times
no.
twice a year? Yeah, and then
Yes
it's
or
like,
no.
of course, yes. And then they'll be like, "Oh, okay, that's
That
that's
would
good.
have
We
been
can
simple.
accommodate that."
Yeah.
But instead, we get stuck with this garbage. Good
Yeah.
morning,
But you know
Dominic.
who aren't garbage?
That's a terrible segue, and I love it. Just so you say they aren't. That's good. You can do the thing. Do
Do
the
you know
thing.
who are wonderful, awesome people that aren't going to make us change time?
Our good friends at
Our good friends.
Subway.
Yes, and so thanks for Helge at the top and everyone else on the list. These are our patrons, and we just want to thank them all for supporting us. And if you want to support us too, you can go to patreon.com/3D Make It. And if you become a patron, you get to join us in our Discord and chat with us and share stuff. So it's awesome. Yes.
Okay. I think I got everything ready now, so
Oh, awesome.
I didn't break much.
Dominic, the government has expert control over everything.
It's just like 1984, you know.
Yeah.
Um,
George
good,
Orwell was
good.
right.
It's a good read. It's a good read. Um, yeah. So there's like a few things that we dug up, and there's one thing that might be of interest towards the end there. Let's talk about Chinese 3D printing first.
Sure.
And I don't
Sure.
mean that in a derogatory way in the slightest. Um, as you know, when you order like a 3D printer from like one of the like any cubic reality, I can't remember more than two brands at a time, so that's what I remember. But like
Bamboo.
Bamboo, well, they're different actually. They're different. But like
They have a Canadian or a US distributor.
yeah, but when you order the other ones, they all come from Shenzhen on the same road in the same factory on the same street, right?
Well, not quite the same factory, but we get it.
You know. But what happens there is you have like lots of these companies break off into subsidiaries, and they try to um merge, either move parts of their product line around to make sure that they reach the correct targeted audience, right? So
Yeah, absolutely.
like I, for example, me, in my garage that I use all the time. I have a Creality Hallet 3D printer, and I use it all the
Do
time.
you actually use it a lot?
Yeah,
Okay. I
no, not at
yeah,
all. It,
I didn't
it,
think so.
it's in
I
fact,
thought you had it, but it was more of a dust collector.
well, no, it's in a cupboard now. Like,
Oh, okay.
it's
Okay.
packed
So
away
it
for
doesn't collect
safety.
the dust.
Yeah,
It's protected from the dust.
right. But that kind of goes to the point I think that this company, specifically Creality, was trying to make is that, like, if you guys have ever used resin 3D printing, which I think yeah, like I have, I think you have at work there,
I
and
I I tried it and then I stunk us out of the office
yeah,
and that was my last exposure to it.
well, we just need to fix the hole in the wall, you know, just saying. But like there are a lot of things about resin printing that just make it great, like the resolution of the prints, the clarity. Like if
Hmm.
you're actually a model maker or you're doing like D and
Miniatures
D
and stuff.
miniatures and
Yeah.
walls, it's great. That technology exists for a very good purpose. It's also used a lot in dentistry.
Yep.
You know, there's industry that uses it for prototyping. It's out there, but
Yeah. And
Creality kind of woke up one morning and went, "Hey,
hey, we should do that too.
yeah," and they did it, and it was great. And then they were like, nobody. Well, the people that are buying this aren't the hobbyists, right? They're not the
And
me
we're
and
not
greet.
making as much money.
So they announced that they're flipping. So Creality, from what I gather, it's very close to when the company was created. One of the founders of Creality made another company called Pio Create.
Yep.
Um, I think, and you can correct me if that's incorrect, but I think that's a correct statement. From what I can see, Pio Create was founded almost like shortly after Creality, and Pio
Yeah,
Create's
buddy.
line, yeah, about a year after, and it has a bunch of stuff. But what the stuff that it has is all geared at like how would you say it? Like prosumer and an enterprise? Or would it just be enterprise? I'm looking at
Yeah,
it's an interesting
yeah, because they have things like massive pellet 3D printers
yeah, do you have a screen up of them maybe?
and dental and jewelry, stuff. And so, yeah, very commercially.
Um do you have their screen up or something?
I can share it. Please
We
wait.
can look at it
Your your
together.
your your call is important to us.
I'm glad. Just don't hang up
Okay,
on me.
I'm ready.
I see. Okay, okay. No, that's my screen, not Greg's screen. My screen just shows OBS. It's not fun. There it is.
Okay. So, yeah, so they have like this is I'm just gonna just quickly just kind of jump through the products. So they've got this pellet system.
Yep.
Um, it's quite a large system. They do a lot of dental printers. Again, resin, right?
Resin.
Um, and then some large LED 3D printer. Okay. Uh,
I've seen those ones
some
around
cure,
a few
yeah,
places. Yeah.
cure and wash station. So like, and some more medical 3D printing. But this, well, the reason we're talking about this is this piece here.
So
That
they're
looks an awful lot like a Hallet.
hmm. And so they are rolling that prosumer in here and letting them hold the brand. But
Yeah,
you,
basically they've handed
if you
over
hit
the
learn
Hallet.
more, where does it take you?
Yeah.
Bam. I want to see. Yeah. So you can tell this is a corporate site because on the Creality site where you'd go buy me now, this one's like get a quote.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
So I think what we're gonna see is this creality will go away on the all the consumer side of things, and eventually it will end up being the this procreate or pio I don't know
PO create,
piocrate
PO,
will
PO.
yeah piocrate will end up the all the Hallett stuff will fall under their brand,
Mm.
and Creality can kind of wash their hands, get all the resin off, and get rid of it.
So let's take a second to just talk about this website for a second. You can scroll
Sure.
down and still stuff. I hate more more in life. I hate websites that don't tell me the price of things. They make me a very sad panda.
Yes.
Like when if I go somewhere and I'm like, oh, I want to buy this Hallet, and this is clearly a Hallet, right? We talked about that. We just talked about
Well, it actually
that.
says Hallett.
And so then you click it, and then it goes to the next page, and then it's like, okay, I want to buy it, and the button literally says get quote. And
That's all you got.
so I can understand getting a quote on some of their like larger industrial pellet stuff and that, but like when you have a product line that you're just rolling in that is consumer still, like when you went to
Yeah.
the 3D printing menu, it says consumer, you gotta give us the price, guys. That's my
Well,
rant.
but
Like,
here's the thing. I think the way it's going to work is they're going to rebrand these, and then it will still exist on the Creality website, but rebranded, and any sales will come out of this company. So they'll still sell them on the Creality website, but if you are someone like maybe I don't know, our friends over at Spool, they'll probably have to order them not from Creality.
well, and that's just it. Like and that's I think that's what um the get quote is for. Is
Yeah,
probably for those guys, but like again, it's one of those things where it's like if like say we just one like Dominic happens upon that page as an example and wants to buy it and it's just quote.
yeah.
It's like hey, like I'd be interested to know what their G5 Ultra pellet, that kind of stuff. Like what does that what does that run you? But you can't. We're not to know. It
I
says
bet you
get
if you
quote.
searched for that printer
Well,
elsewhere,
it's like everything. If you want to buy a
there's got to be
firewall at work or
there's got to
whatever.
be a reseller somewhere.
Did
Let's
Digit
try.
Makers sells it
Let,
for $3,500 used. I see used. Microforge. Oh, that's just that. Yeah, I see it. I see the PO create and it's used. Oh, here's a new one. So the PO Create palette printer, which is 500 by 500 by 400, so it's a big printer, is $7,500. Looks like American.
oh
So
well.
it's a chunk of change. But pellet
Oh,
printers are, right? Like
yeah,
they're
for
the
sure.
pellet printers are definitely something that you wouldn't use in your home setting generally
Right.
because like you're almost printing with like the raw material at that point. Um
But you really you want the G40 pellet printer.
well, I do
Oh yeah, because it's
the
three
3 meter
three
one.
thousand. It's 3,700 by 2,500 by 1,300.
You're
You
gonna print
could
a
print
car out of that thing.
that thing. You drive your 3D printer out when it's
Yeah,
done.
it has a here. Hold on. I assume you have it. You show it on your screen. I'm supposed to be about your screen.
I got it
Okay, he's
here.
got it. Um, it has a CNC 5 axis head inside that thing. Like crazy. What is the world coming to when we?
Well,
Yeah,
see,
Dominic, get quote means you can't afford this. You're 100% right. That's generally what it means.
I wonder what that one costs.
This, you beat me to it.
There's
There's
no one
no
has
pictures
it.
for it.
The G okay, here the G12, the smaller one,
Yeah.
is $60,000. So if you want the one up from it, it's got to be like $100,000.
Oh, uh,
Yeah, because if this one's 60, the
there's
G12 is
this
60.
there's a website that says save $450,000 on it, and I'm like, nah, that's a typo.
Because well, it costs that
It's
much before shipping.
it
So
says it's
the
five
the
grand
400,000 is
on
the
this
free
one
shipping.
site, but
That's
you
the
know
free shipping.
that is the free shipping. Yeah, do you actually get your own boat for this? This is the only thing that can fit.
They send you a 40-foot container and you get to keep the container.
Now with free shipping container.
Yeah.
So
Anyway, so this was
kind of
kind of
interesting.
interesting
Yeah,
that
like
this company is basically going to take over all the resin printers from Creality, and they're going to work on any future development or changes to the products and whatnot. So
yeah,
not
it's
sure if we're not sure if the Creality branding is going to stay on it or just the Hallett branding. Probably just the Hallett branding.
yeah, like I don't know if they change it. They still want it to have some sort of like recognition,
Yeah.
but I I don't see. It's interesting because I haven't seen any other companies move their resin printers into like a separate space yet. Um, in fact, there's some companies that are doubling down and just making them bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger.
And
Like,
there could be some consolidation and stuff over the next few years. And who knows, maybe someone will come up with a novel new way of utilizing resin that is like we've seen those really early holographic, resin
mm-hmm,
printers and stuff that they're it's highly lab oriented, right? Like,
yeah,
but you know maybe that'll get commercialized one day,
um,
and we can
yeah.
have a replicator like on
Ooh,
Star Trek,
like you could be like tea, Earl Grey, hot, and
and
it'd be like
and
sure,
it comes out as a solid object,
yeah, yeah. All these pictures just scream here, take a bag of money from me. Um,
right?
but so that's kind of it's a cool thing. I'm interested to see what other companies do.
Right.
Maybe we're in line with that, but
Well,
um,
and with all the kerfuffle with tariffs and stuff over the next while, I'm interested to see how that's going to affect the hobby 3D printing industry and whatnot. Like,
mhm.
you know, um, are our spool prices going to go up when we order filament? Are our printers going to go up? Like, we haven't really. It's too early yet to kind of see the impact because we've seen warnings from certain people's websites that, oh well, if I ship to the states now, this is all made in China, it's going to cost you more and stuff like that. But yeah, I guess time will tell.
Yeah, and that's not an issue for, I think, everybody on our. It's a non-issue for a lot of people on our channel, and it's an issue for some people on our channel, or in our
Yeah.
community. And
Well,
um,
it'll just be interesting as an industry as a whole if that will force some consolidation there as well.
yeah, or more. Like I know we have a few local filament manufacturers. I know there's a couple south of the border from us, because right now
There's a
lots of
couple in
that stuff
Vancouver.
comes from lots of the filament, even if it's like a house brand, comes across on the boat and then
Mhm.
ends up with the brand of the house on it. So like yeah, that could all change. But um I think on the happier topics than almost political things. Uh, um, oops, I closed my window. Okay, so
No, say it ain't
we
so.
talked about this a little bit in the past. I think maybe it might have been when you were not maybe one of the streams when you weren't around.
Mm.
But recently, Prusa updated a feature on their website for the better of man, right?
That's how they do everything, isn't it?
um, yeah, I like that last comment, but I'm not gonna read it because I don't want to get political. Okay, so Prusa slicer or Prusa, I should say, not the slicer. So printables, and like many websites, like they have an open with button now. So like if you go
Yep.
to even if you go to Thingiverse, right, it says open with Kira,
Yep.
right? So like Prusa made they already had open with Prusa with a Prusa printer button with
Yep.
Prusa slicer, but they added one, and
They were trying to be nice.
it's really nice of them to add print with Orca. You know,
Yeah.
like lots of people use Orca Slicer. I use it.
Yep.
Granted, I use it less now. Like even I really like the update from Creality Print 6 that just
Mm.
came. But anyway, Orca, yeah, sorry, but Orca is a great product, and Prusa are great products, but Prusa misunderstood something. They tried really hard, right?
They and what did they do when they tried really hard?
So when they had the open with Orca uh, link, they would redirect you to a web page that basically went to not Orca, and we talked about it. So like if you want Orca, you have to go to the Soft Fever GitHub page and download Orca Slicer,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And so we talked about it. There's like a counterfeit site that's called orcaslicer.net. Don't go there. No,
Yeah.
don't.
Oh,
So
so
it,
go there.
no, don't do it. I mean, you can, but don't click anything. So this is a site that somebody like um either is trying to was trying to be nice and made this site, right? And um
Or they're trying to be malicious and inject stuff into Orca so you can
e-
download bit
well, and
mining
that's the
and
thing.
whatever
The
else.
So the actual Orca Slicer Soft Fever, I think it's just one dude actually. But like that they came out and said, "Hey y'all, we did not make this orcaslicer.net. We don't bet anything on it. In fact, the website's malicious. Don't give it any mention or go there." That's why I said don't go there. And you could tell that it is faker than a fake. Um I'll go there so you don't have to. Hold on. 1 second. Let me show you why it's Faker McFakersons. Um okay, and then I just gotta click this button. And then wow, I did it. So this is the website in question. And the first thing you'll know is the giant download placed in the header that pulls everything down. So that's the first sign of a row shaggy. Now I don't have
Uh
Ghostry installed on this browser, or I should say
oh.
for this
Uh
user,
oh.
so we can't see how many trackers there are. But I guarantee you it's full of trackers. And
Oh
then
yeah.
like you can see this annoying uh at the bottom. So those are your first two that this might be a faker McFakerson. Here's another Faker McFakerson. Okay. So the Faker was a faker. Uh okay,
You
hold
can
on.
do a free account.
Fake again, right?
But
And
but
then
but I want a free account. Free's good.
so it says at the bottom of the website too, I'm really fake. Don't trust me. So the real interesting thing is there's enough information on the front of this page that should say, "Hey, I shouldn't be on here at all,
Well,
right?
I
Or I
mean,
shouldn't be like
when they
clicking,
push their free account 5 times on the same page, red flag.
right? Now the bigger, so like it goes farther. So there's a Discord, and I think this is actually like these links up here are like this actually goes to the GitHub, but um like this is where you should be going to Soft Fever's GitHub, and they did, in all fairness, put a link up there, so kudos. But still, don't go here. Just the thing is, if you Google Orca Slicer like such, it like
Yes.
it's the second link. So what this guy is played SEO games to get clicks on his ad-driven website to steal revenue from Orca Slicer. That's all it is. He has like a
Yep.
blog with nothing. So that's like a huge flag right there. He has an about. Welcome to Orca Slicer, and like he has basically ripped off. I'll be willing to bet that the somewhere he had like on the GitHub he had this verbiage right, and then so he's kind of cut and paste. Here's the terrifying part. All right, do you need support? Let's open a random Discord server. Let's not say we did. Um, and then the other thing that is a huge red flag, and you might actually do this, is hey, put in all your personal information,
Yeah, because giving away personal information, there's nothing wrong with that.
right? So we have like this contact button, and then when you look at the bottom, they've kind of got this like almost the same crow's feet, um, and then it gives you like a status. It tells you this is unofficial. It tells you all the liabilities on you, right? Um, it tells oh, we respect developers and developer rights. Incorrect. You are straight up stealing intellectual property to run your website. This is
We respect the right to disrespect you.
yeah, basically. And then it's like here's our privacy policy. Um, and anytime you see an interpretation of a privacy policy, it's probably a bad sign for you. Companies do this all the time when they have not 100% above the board intents with your information, right? It even tells you like they use beacons and and cookies, so they're collecting everything that I have open right now in this tab has just went to this website as information and demographics.
And
Um,
and and Printables was kind enough to link to them.
yeah, and so that was the oops. Everybody, look at our dashboard. It's great. I know how to fix this problem. Bam. And so that's the crux of it. So we go through that website and like God bless them, but Prusa they tried to link to Orchestra, but they actually ended up linking
They,
to that unofficial site.
uh, yeah, they really should have just linked to the GitHub and been
And
done with it.
and that's the thing though, like okay, here's a question, and this is a question for everybody, a group participation. Um should like do you think things like Orca Slicer, once they take on and gain some footage, should they um make a website? Should they have a web presence of like a legitimate, web presence? What do you
So
think?
that no one else can take
Yeah.
their web presence.
Yeah.
I mean, they still can because you got .org, .com, dot 3D. Who knows?
And
There's
right,
always a
they could
dot
take it
something
back,
coming,
right?
right?
So here's
So
the thing, and I think it's true about a lot of the newer developments in the GitHubs and that kind of stuff. Is sometimes people are just doing this stuff as a passion project, or it starts as a passion project, so they really don't have any intent to protect a brand.
Right.
right? Or like the
Well, they're
product
not.
even.
Yeah, they're just trying to continue or improve without profit to profit. They're not in it to profit. But these
Yeah,
websites, I mean, if you look at all the ads and everything around it and whatnot, like they're in it for the money. I mean, if they can get people to go to that site, I'm sure they made thousands of dollars
yeah, 100%.
of traffic from Prusa
Yeah,
sending it to that site, right? So it's like, yikes.
and
That could have
oopsies,
gone into the development,
and that's where like I feel like to do this, I don't feel like, and I don't know because I wasn't there. So let's preface with that. But like when they made this change, I feel like they didn't like consult with Orca about it, right?
right?
Like if they would
Let's just
have,
do it.
yeah, like if they would have consulted, it would have been like um it would have been easy because then the Orca guy would be like, "Oh yeah, I have a website. Sorry, Soft Fever actually doesn't have a website. We only use the GitHub. So if you're gonna link to the GitHub."
Yeah,
Um, and it's important to note too that all the account stuff in real Orca Slicer is actually a Bamboo Labs account that you sign in with, right?
right.
So like the
It's a
sign in
pass
or
through,
yeah.
right?
So
Yeah,
like making that fake account on the weirdo web page is not something that you even remotely have to do. You
no.
have like other
Well,
mechanisms.
unless you like giving your data away.
That's true. If you do,
I mean,
send
if
it
you
to
enjoy
me,
it,
right? Like,
I mean, they allow you to do it like 4 to 5 times on their website, so you could
yeah,
like use four different.
they really want to hook you, you know? They really want to get you. So, I mean, a little bit of a warning of the dark side of the internet. I mean, it's not like a super dark side here. This one seems more like a honeypot situation,
Just
almost.
it's more of a be aware. Don't click, don't
Yeah.
click
I
the
don't
link.
know. Did
Hopefully
it
they
say if
fixed
they
it already.
fixed it?
I don't know that they did, but
I'm gonna look at.
normally they're pretty good on top of that stuff.
Let's look at the. We're gonna
Oh,
go to a model here.
Prusa replied to the post. Thanks to the poster for bringing the issue to his attention. The company will fix the problem shortly. At the time of writing, the incorrect URL remained, and this
I don't
was
even see
written.
where I can click the. Oh, okay, I see it. Okay, so
And
here,
this was as of March 7th. So this was a couple days ago. It was still broken. So I don't know if it's still broken.
let me. Why are my buttons broken? Stupid Streamlabs. Okay, hold on. I will show you because I found it. Here's the screen capture.
And guess what? Orca has officially launched orca.slicer.com.
See, they already did it.
And it 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 has nowhere to create an account on it.
Was that in that article too? I'll bring that
Yeah,
up.
it's at the very bottom.
Okay, I'll bring that up. So
But if yeah, if you I have it up on my screen,
okay,
but
we'll show you. We'll show you after. So here's the printables. I just found a model. It was on the home screen. I don't even know what it does. It looks. It's a self-stabilizing rolling robot. Wow, neat. Okay. Well, if you click on the files and it comes here, you can pick Orca Slicer from the drop down here. Oops. So like if I open an Orca Slicer, and it's like open an Orca Slicer,
yeah,
and then this is the this is kind of sketch too, but we told it to. So if you actually have Orca Slicer, it opens in Orca Slicer. So
yeah.
I think it only did affect if you didn't have it, it would try to um
Redirects to
redirect you
the
to
other site.
download. So
Yeah.
I'll just flip to Greg. Here's the real Orca Slicer.
And it's
Look, the
a
colors
little
match
bit
their brand
nicer.
even.
Well, the other one had a small logo, but this one is definitely better. And
Yeah.
notice there's no login.
There's no account creations.
There's just some information and some downloads. And when if you hover over the link, it takes you to the GitHub.
Yep. So there's no doubt that it.
And documentation. Look, it takes you to the Git. We like that.
Eh,
But now the community does take you to an invalid.
no, it's the invite link. If you want to hit continue, it open Discord.
Yeah,
That's a known issue with Discord.
yeah. So anyway, just thought we would you know, they they did fix the so don't go to .net, go to .com.
Yeah, and he does have. I don't know where his. I think it's right on his GitHub that it has like his whole spiel of don't go to the orca.net. Um, so like this is a really good case about internet safety for one, and then knowing where you're going and knowing how to see if you were being taken advantage of.
And did you notice something else about this site?
It's legit and it's secured and it has a
There are
certificate.
no ads.
Zero ads. Zero.
I like
Which
sites like this.
bet you got Prusa to pay for it. That'll be great. That's not my website, but if you make one, I'll point to it. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's as we see more and more of this software come out and more convenience come out, websites do try, and it's not just like Fusion does this too, where it redirects you to a website, then you click a button to open Fusion once you signed in on the website, right?
Yeah, to
So
authenticate.
it's just a real good practice to one always be aware of like if a company is big enough they won't have a billion ads on their website trying to trick
Yep.
you, right? They just want you to sign in. Don't give out things that aren't asked for, right? There's it's just one of those internet tips. Now we go to a lot of like uh sites like Fabaloo and all 3DP and those sites. They
Yeah,
generally
there's
have ads because that's how they make their revenue,
yeah,
right? So
100%. Like I mean,
um
there's one thing if you understand that
yeah,
versus just, you know, grandma doesn't understand that.
some days I forget to understand that.
Yeah.
I feel like the the overarching win in this situation is the fact that they got it all straightened out and now there's a real website, and hopefully he does a better SEO job and kicks that fake one right out of Google. If you know what SEO is, it's just search engine optimization. It's a uh, what is it, abbreviation, I guess. I don't know. Whatever. Uh, it's a tool we use to sneak things where they shouldn't be in a search engine.
Yep.
Yep. So, we have talked a little AI in the past, a little AI
Mhm.
here and there, right?
Yeah.
And
I have the website up.
okay,
Article up, I should say.
Greg has things. He's doing it. Um, okay, it's on you. Can you click the start free trial? We were kind of talking about this before stream, and it's called Backflip AI. Um, I don't know if there's a picture of it really.
There's a big picture right there. The guy's scanning an object on his desk.
So Backflip AI. Now, if you've ever used at the beginning, if you've ever used a 3D scanner before, you will know one that if you want it to work right, more expensive is better.
Yep. Yep.
You can buy
Yeah, I
cheaper
mean, you can use
ones.
your iPhone and stuff,
Yeah,
and or your phone and do stuff because we've tried that,
it works
but
ish,
the
right?
models can be leaky,
We've
shall we say?
tried what's it? We tried the Connect. That was leaky too. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Like models should be watertight, which means all the faces should be closed. and all the polygons, or the triangles I should say, should be not inverted and flat, right?
Yeah.
So um
which which is depending on what color the surface is you're scanning, and whatnot, because if it's too reflective it's not going to kind of get a good scan and stuff, depending on what type of scanner you're using. And the models can be quite kind of lumpy and bumpy, when it's stitched, because it's stitching so many different scans and images and whatnot from different angles together.
yeah.
And that's where you can get the holes or the manifolds that are bad and whatnot.
And it can take, like, in the past you would do a scan, so you'd grab, like, your phone, like Greg said, would work, or maybe you have an nine scanner or something. Rev Point makes a scanner, right? You'd grab those, you do your scan, and then if they have a software, you would try really hard to use the software. Um, yeah, you're way underneath the article there.
Well, I was just trying to see if there's any other pictures.
They have a website. You could try the
Yeah,
website.
I'm gonna go to the website.
The 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 overarching though is, like, you usually have to bring it into a program like Meshmaker to fix it up, right? To seal those edges, smooth it out, make it look more printable, especially when it's organic. Um, when it's less organic and more like manifoldy party, something that's functional, it's actually easier to scan. And easier for the scanner to uh how you say, like, understand the object better.
Right.
Um, if you look at their blog, it kind of shows, you know, um, what their scanner can do. It looks impressive. I don't think they actually have like a physical. Um,
I mean, that's a pretty good if they printed that off and scanned it. I mean,
I mean, that would be close, right?
that's a pretty good job. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
but I don't think they actually have like a scanner. I think that it's
no, they
software.
post process
Yeah.
they're processing software, um, and whatnot. So they
So this is basically like I said, like a mesh mixture, but with AI built in. And honestly, this is exciting. This is a good use for AI.
oh,
Uh,
absolutely.
because, like, the struggle is real when you're trying to scan. Like Greg and I have tried to scan. We've had varying results with scanning. Um,
I mean,
it's
I'm sure if we worked at it, we could make get a workflow that worked for us, that we could, get an improved outcome.
it's
But
true. Yeah,
if you're just doing a scan quickly for one off or
yeah.
whatever, it, it's a lot of work. And I think this is going to reduce that work big time.
And it's a lot of work. It is. Like, fixing a bad 3D scan can take days, hours,
Yeah.
right? And especially if you're like a hobby person at it, because then you have
Mhm.
to learn how to do it, which is not fun in the slightest either. Um,
But like if you're like someone who wants to, do some small manufacturing or whatever, or some
mm,
modifications to a product, or
yeah,
develop a product that is based, an add-on for a niche,
yeah,
a,
yeah,
lit-
yeah.
like a strut mount or something. You wanted to adjust a strut mount or something in a car, you'd want to scan the top of the strut or the so that you can then make this product. Well, now this hopefully will make it easier for someone to do that
A
kind of stuff.
100%, and it will. Hopefully, it's one of those like transformative technologies eventually that
Right.
unlocks, because it is. Some people lack the skill in CAD to fully CAD,
Mhm.
right? And this will get you halfway there.
But I
Um,
mean, and sometimes you just want an accurate um surface to start with, right?
yep,
Because you're building your model from that object. I mean, you can take a picture, right, and import something in and then scale it and whatnot, but
Yep.
could be a little skeuomorphous, right? It may not be perfectly square and whatnot. So, but it might be good enough to, and I've done that many times where I've taken a picture of what I want to design
Hmm.
to adapt something to, and then built off of that, and then had to refine, like the holes weren't quite lined up and this and that, and and this should really streamline the process.
100%. Um, it's one of those things that, yeah, like AI has some good uses, and this is finally one of them.
I think this is a really this is the kind of thing that will really make AI shine for manufacturing and whatnot. Like even just small, like a small business who maybe wants to, develop a product and then sell a kit or something. Well, now they can quickly develop it, use like a third party, laser cutting, like what
Yeah,
Send Cut Send or some of those other weird companies to make kits for your product, right? That that's really cool.
100%. So I want to plant a little bug in everybody's ear.
Ooh,
Uh,
a bug.
so if you're watching after, you're watching now. Um, we have an issue in 3D printing, kind of. And the issue is waste, kind of. And I say kind of, but
Hasn't that always been an issue?
yeah, kind of. But specific, the waste specific that I want to talk about is le poop from the AMS and the CFS and um I'm trying to think of the other ones. The Cobra, any Cubic Cobra thingy has one too. But like, there's been some folk on the internet that have done stuff with the poop.
Mhm.
They've picked up the.
I
I'm gonna say this as gross as I can the
They
whole time
picked up the
because
poop
they
and
picked up
smushed
the
the poop.
poop and then they've made like I've seen some people like just throw it in the oven on a tray and melt it into
A,
like
a mold.
a mold, right?
Yeah, I've
Well,
seen that too.
I've
I think I
seen
saw.
I forget who it was. Like somebody made like I want to say it was Angus maybe, but like lampshade.
Huh?
I there's people that like recycling's an option. Obviously, right? You could throw it in a shredder and then re-extrude it. Like I've seen this stuff on the
Assuming
internet.
assuming that you're diligent enough to not mix ABS and PETG and
Right.
all the
Like all the things you have to do it properly. But the thing that I want to get at is there's lots of stuff to do with it, and I've seen some of it, but we got some pretty smart people that watch the stream and that are
could
you
that be
know
the new Christmas challenge?
well probably like let's start it now. I mean, let's use our big brains and fix this problem. We are going to save the whole world.
We're gonna save Christmas. I mean, the
It's
world.
gonna be Die Hard movies, like because we're gonna Die Hard this, but right now. Um, so like, let's give it some thought. Like, let's take it offline, obviously, but like, what would be the best way to handle the poop? Now, if you
Yeah.
haven't used like the AMS or
Would
the
you like me to grab
CFS,
some?
yeah, Greg will show you what poop is. I don't have any in the house because the printer that does it's in the garage right now. Soon I'll have one in the house. Here's poop. So it doesn't. I wish it looked more like poop, but that's what it is.
And I gotta say that some of this is ABS.
Uh oh.
Some of this is PLA.
So, like on the
So
Bamboo Labs,
I
it
I
just shoots
haven't
out,
I
right?
haven't I haven't cleaned
She doesn't have clean poop.
the chute.
His poop is
in a
not
while.
separately clean. So what I would like, and like again, it's a brainstorming activity, and it could go contesty, but like let's think about, um, I think let's think about what we could do with the poop. What we can change with how we recycle it or how we reuse it. I've always been a big proponent of, instead of a purge tower, you could have a purge model. And I
So
think,
what's in I tried that in the early versions of Bamboo Slicer
yeah,
to purge into a model, and you can do that.
yep.
The problem is it still poops. There
Well,
was no at the time, and I haven't checked it again. There
yeah,
was no way
no,
to turn off the
the
poop.
poop. There still is
If
not a way to turn off the poop.
Yeah, I think they should have a way to, if you have a specific model set to be your purge, they should poop into the model.
So the poop portion of your bamboo lab printer, and here's the reason why the poop the poop isn't just like, it's not actually random waste.
No,
All of these
it's a
printers,
transition.
no, it's not even a transition. The poop, the poop exists because of the cutter.
Correct. And there's
Because the
like,
cutter, it doesn't transition, it cuts it, and there's no
yeah,
way for it to extract it after it's cut. So the poop is
yes,
actually the purge from that cut filament that can't be
right,
pulled out anymore.
right.
And
But
so,
there's no reason why you can't purge that into a model.
well, there's one reason, and that would be you need to retract to print a model, right? Like
Yes, yes, but
without,
just before
but
you do the cut, you can retract a little bit and then slice, right?
yeah, but once you cut it, it's cut. You can't extrude it anymore. Like
Yeah,
when
but
it
when you
cuts
put
the
the new
filament, it's
one
cutting
in,
it at the hot end, and then it's pushing out the filament.
yeah, and then it switches filament, right?
But how
And
are you
so
going to
when
do it without, like, in a model? Like, if you're printing into
if
a
I
model and the model needs retractions, how do you do it?
well, all I'm saying is you when you pull back to do the cut, you pull back like a tiny bit so that it doesn't have the little ooze, and then you do your cut, so you're still leaving a segment
Right.
in the hot end,
But you can't
and then
start your
you then
model
you
until it purges it all, which is the poop.
and then you sit over the purge model, right? As
Yeah.
it loads back in the filament and then purges into the model instead of pooping it out.
So,
That's all
like,
I'm saying.
if you're purging into the middle of the model randomly, sure. But like if it's actually printing a model, like, like a benchy or something, and it's printing like a perimeter on the outside, it can't actually take that time to purge into the model. It would
Okay,
have to start at the point it left off. So there would
right,
be
but
logic changes.
what I'm what I'm saying, and maybe I didn't articulate this well, is like you have 12 things on your bed. The 13th thing is for purging. It's not actually the model that you're going to use, right? It's specifically either like a purge tower or whatever,
No,
and
but what I'm saying is
you're
purge to a
extruding into
benchy.
that.
Like, remember
Yeah.
we've printed like all those
I
multicolor
purged
things?
to so when I was doing it, I instead of having the purge tower,
Yeah.
I had a model, one of the models specifically
So you purged to a
selected
model.
as the purge.
And did it go multicolor?
Yes. It was
Like
just striped.
random. Yeah,
It was
that's what
just
I mean.
random. And I'm okay with that. As
But
you
that's
know,
why your
because
printer still pooped though, because it was still pooping to purge that distance that it couldn't actually retract.
yeah. Yeah, but
Like that's the
I think
logic they're
there should
using
be
at the
there should
moment.
be some logic to switch it so that because I don't care if I have a phone stand that's stripy and made and looks like
Right. And that's why
dog poop.
that's kind of like that's one of the things that like
If the
brainstorming could help,
Yeah,
is like maybe it's rewrite the algorithm to purge, like maybe you
it should
if
be a
you're purging
checkbox.
you should be able to, like if you're purging into a model, like that, maybe on the cut it starts printing infill first if it can, or it plans to print inner walls. Like it know, like it would the slicer would have to know when the switch was happening, and then as long as it
Mhm.
wasn't outer walls, it would look fine. But like,
But even if it's, you know how they do a purge tower anyway, right? When you're
yeah,
doing the multicolor, even
yeah.
if they could just do it into that.
So have like a purge tower.
So like the purge tower, they just, instead of moving from the purge tower over to the poop thing to do the transition,
Nah.
they just stay on the purge tower, cut, retract, and keep going. Like they're just already in the spot, and it doesn't matter if it's a
So on a
little
tower, it
off,
doesn't matter for sure, right?
right? But
But
that's what
if
I'm
you're
saying. Like there
purging
should
into
be a
a
way to do that.
model, then it would
The
matter.
tower is a model too,
Well, yeah, but it's not something that I want.
right?
I'm not going to hang it on my
But you,
wall. But what if
but
I
you
wanted
can.
to print a vase out of it,
But
and
that's
that
what
was
I'm
his
saying.
purge,
You can add an extra model to the plate and select that instead of the purge tower to be the purge tower.
right? And then there's still problems with right now the cutting into pooping.
Yes.
But it's one of those
I I,
things. It's not.
I think it's solvable,
Well,
or
yeah,
at
you just
least
got to rewrite
even if
the.
we could reduce it by I by doing that I was able to reduce the poop size by I think like 25%.
Yeah, and then
So I mean, if we could get it down to
Ray has a point,
10% would
and
be great.
actually, I'm on Ray's side with this one, and I also don't use it. Don't. He's like, don't print with a purge tower, and honestly, that's a solid
That's true.
option, especially if you're just pooping. Because you're not the purge tower isn't saving you anything. Like
No,
with the
it
poop, it might as well poop instead of print a tower. It's
right.
one less thing to take off the build plate, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and then the more objects you print that have multicolor, the more efficient your pooping is, right? Because if you have 50 objects, right? Um and you measure the amount of waste left over afterwards versus printing one object, you have the same amount of waste. So it's more efficient to just fill your build plate with as many objects of multicolor as you can to prevent that.
Truth. But
So,
again, it's one of those things where maybe we could give it some thought.
yeah,
Maybe we circle back to it and then see what people come up with. Uh
to think about it this week, guys.
and then we will I think we're back next week. What date is it? Camping starts in all right. It's crazy to think that we're talking about that word, but camping is soon.
Isn't that in May though? 'Cause
Uh
we're only in
no,
March.
no, starts the 15th.
15th of
That's
March.
yeah, that's when you can pull out and start setting up. Not
It's a
that we go
little early
camping, it's
because
a little cold.
we're it's the snowiest month of the year.
No, I'm just saying I'm just gonna go pull stuff out and then walk away from it. That's my plan.
Okay.
But yes, so we'll be around next week. So let's see if we can bang our heads against the wall and leave friends. It'll be good. So yeah, thanks for coming today. We appreciate it. It's been fun. Remember, like, share, subscribe, do things. If you're a
Do the
patron, we
things.
really appreciate you. It's patreon.com/3D Make It, or you can get all of our socials at www.3dmakeit.ca. I almost
CA.
said com.
Yeah.
Um, but until then, we will catch you guys on the flippity flip.
Bye.
Bye.